What's up, guys? It's your host, JayThat'sMe. All right, let's talk about Monday Night Raw for February the 20th, 2023. So, we kicked the show off with Sami Zayn. So, Sami Zayn, he gets into the ring. Sami says he's feeling a lot of feelings tonight, but the main feeling from the last couple of days that he's getting is gratitude. He thanks the fans for the recent reactions and says they have no idea what it means. So a "you deserve it" chant starts to break out. Sami says he's also feeling guilt for letting everyone down. Sami says everyone told him to finish the story, but he's now realized that the story isn't over. It's never over. However, we're entering the final chapter, and the final chapter is not just about him. Sami says there's one person he needs to talk to tonight more than anyone else. That's Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens comes out. Sami says he wanted to say so much to Kevin, but now that he's standing here, he doesn't know what to say. Sami wants to say thank you, he guesses. And he wants to say he's sorry, but he knows that they're past the point of words. Things have gotten messy. They both said some things they shouldn't have said to each other. Sami says for months, Kevin Owens said he only cared about taking down the Bloodline, and he knows that KO doesn't stop until he accomplishes something when he gets it in his head. Sami says if it's the last thing he does, he will not stop until he sees Roman Reigns and the Bloodline come crumbling down. Sami says he and KO can't do it alone, but he thinks the only way it can get done is if they do it together. Then Owens says he doesn't need Sami's apology or gratitude because what he did on Saturday was for Owens' family, not Sami, because they watch KO get beat down at the Rumble while Sami watched. KO did it Owens said he did it for Sami's family so they didn't have to watch Sami get beat down like Owens' family did. Owens says he's been fighting the Bloodline for months on his own, and as far as he's concerned, that's fine. He'll keep fighting them alone. Owens says he still means everything that he said back in November when he said he was done with Sami, and that's fine. So if Sami needs help taking down the Bloodline, just ask his buddy Jey Uso. And then KO drops the mic and dips out. So I do like this. This is great. It actually makes sense. KO is making Sami jump through hoops. So this per storyline does make sense. And Kevin Owens is not wrong in this instance. He's not. Kevin Owens is completely in the right. 100%. You know, Sami did turn his back on Kevin. And this is a part of Sami Zayn, you know, being delusional. You know, he's still that delusional heel. So this makes perfect sense. And I love how he said, you know, ask your buddy Jey Uso to help you out. So it makes a bunch of sense. And I'm fine with it. Now, I do think that we will still get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos, but they're going to make us jump through hoops to get it, you know. Sami needs to earn Kevin Owens' trust again. And that's the whole point. So Kevin's like, look, man, you're on your own. You know, you're on your own. If you want something done, you got to get done yourself. So I do like that. So Sami is about to head back up the ramp. He's attacked by Baron Corbin. For whatever reason, we go to commercial. So Corbin and Sami are brawling during the break. Then Corbin gets on the mic and says he called it Roman Reigns destroyed Sami. in front of all his friends and family. And he continues on talking trash while Zayn's trying to get into the ring, but officials are holding him back still. Corbin says Sami has embarrassed himself, his hometown, and all of Canada because he's a complete failure. Then out of nowhere, Adam Pearce steps aside, and then Sami charges the ring, and then him and Corbin, they brawl, which sets up for our first match of the night, Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin. Sami Zayn wins via the haluva kick. So I'm guessing we're going to slowly resort back to Baron Corbin's homeless gimmick, I hope. It's kind of what it seems like. It actually kind of makes the most sense. Moving on. So Byron Saxton, he's backstage with Rhea Ripley and Dominic. And he asked about what happened at the chamber. Rhea says, what about it? Saxton says she and Finn came up short against Edge and Beth Phoenix. Rhea says the last thing she's worried about, the last thing that she'll say about Beth is that after they went toe-to-toe, Beth says she was the real deal. They have unfinished business, but Rhea isn't focused on the past. She's focused on WrestleMania. So Byron begins to press Dominic, but Dom says Rhea's done talking about them, who are has-beens like his father. Dominic threatens to show Byron what he learned in prison. Byron asks about facing Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania and how she talked about putting Rhea in her place a few years back at WrestleMania. So Rhea says Flair's only bringing up what happened a few years ago because she refuses to see what everyone sees. And that's Rhea is the best woman in the WWE. She says she's only her only lesson here is this. She doesn't make the same my bad. Her only mistake is this. She doesn't make the same mistake twice. Rhea says if Charlotte puts her in her place at Mania, then it'll be good because her place is standing over Flair as the new champion. And then Byron asks what's there to expect on Friday night's face-off on SmackDown. Rhea says to find out, to watch to find out. Dominic brings up that his dad has a match on SmackDown with Karrion Kross. And he says that he might tag along to SmackDown to see with Ripley. And then Rhea says to Byron that the interview is over. And so her and Dominic walk out. So I like that. It's kind of cool. We are setting up, Dom and Ray, which makes sense. We're setting up Charlotte and Rhea. So I do like this. This is interesting. Austin Theory, he's backstage with with Kathy Kelly. So she asked what he's going to do in tonight's title match, just 2 nights after the Elimination Chamber. Austin Theory says he's banged up, he's feeling it, but here he is like usual. He stepped into the Elimination Chamber and put everyone down like he said he would. The headline is bothering him because it's saying that John Cena is coming back in 2 weeks, when it should say who cares. Theory asks where his respect is for putting work in every week. Theory goes on and says he's happy to put a Hall of Famer in his place tonight in this crappy country of Canada. Theory says he'll continue his forever reign tonight, right into WrestleMania. And he'll stand there everyone because he knows, because he'll never lose his title. Now that's the headline. My bad. How's that for a headline? And then Theory walks off. So I like this. It makes sense. John Cena being there. Cool. That's great. That'll be a great rating for Raw that week. Makes a lot of sense. But does this feud really need the U.S. title? John Cena versus Austin Theory. Does that need the U.S. title? The answer is no. It doesn't. So I don't know why the hell they're going down that route. It doesn't make any damn sense to me. I have no idea why. I don't. Another thing I don't have, the other thing I'm wondering about is why would they put on Dolph Ziggler versus Mustafa Ali? So this match was short. I didn't even really watch it. So, Mustafa Ali wins via a crucifix roll. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know what they're going with this. Shouldn't have been on the show. Shouldn't have been on the show. And we know why we got this match, They're building it up for about 3 weeks anyway. So, but it's not important. Like, this is something that can happen on main event, seriously. Or a dark match, like, seriously. Like, ugh. Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler? No, please. So Kathy Kelly, she's backstage trying to get a word with The Miz. He's busy with Maurice. So Maurice tells Miz happy anniversary. She gives him a gift, and Miz says he can't believe that it's real. Miz says this isn't big news for Kathy, so it needs to be broken by a world-renowned journalist like him on Miz TV. Miz says he's saving the news for next week, which is great. So Kathy brings up his recent loss to Rick Boogs and tonight's match with Seth Rollins. Miz says those were controversial losses. He goes on and to insult Rollins and says that he's glad that his protege Logan Paul brought Rollins back down to earth. Miz says he molded Logan Paul into the superstar he is today, and in a sense you could say it was him who caused Rollins to lose out on the U.S. title this past weekend. Miz goes on and says that this envelope gift from Maurice is making his dreams come true. It is awesome. So they kiss, and that was the end of the segment. So I like that. Pretty cool. Next, our boy, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is out next. The American Nightmare. So, Cody gets on the mic. He's about to speak for a second. Like, what do you want to talk about? Out of nowhere, Paul Heyman interrupts from the screen. So he's wearing a neck brace. He's selling what happened to him at the Chamber, being stunned by KO. He's carrying Reigns' titles. Rhodes asks Paul, where is he? Heyman says he's backstage. Rhodes tells Heyman to come out to the ring because everyone wants to hear what he has to say. Heyman says he was mauled by Kevin Owens on Saturday night. Then he was subjected to terrible Canadian healthcare system. To the Canadian healthcare system. And what should have been a celebration for his tribal chief ended up being a tragedy for the wise man. But the true tragedy of this story you want to finish will befall you. So Paul says, let's face it, Cody can't beat Reigns. Heyman says, let's just imagine if Cody, just imagine that Cody beats Roman at WrestleMania. Then what will Cody's life be like? Have you ever heard the phrase indentured servitude? Heyman says, right. Reigns doesn't live that life, but that's because he has special counsel, the wise man. He has Paul Heyman. Heyman says if Cody wins, which he won't have Paul Heyman with him. Heyman goes on imagining Cody's life as champion. So he says he figures around 200 days on the road, 40 or 50, closer to 50 days making charity appearances, and the red carpet events, 30 days overseas promoting the WWE brand, another 30 days promoting WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, and let's not forget your title defenses in Peoria, Illinois. Now you're going to end up around 305 days a year, so that leaves 60 days at home, with 20 of them on Skype or Zoom to promote the product. Meetings. Heyman asks, what Cody's brother Dustin once said, when your father was on the road, he was never home. And even when he was home, he was never home. So is that the life that you want for your wife and child? Is that the life you want for your wife and child, for your family? Is that the sacrifice you're willing to make for these titles? Heyman knows Cody thinks he's about to say something vulgar and vile about Reigns keeping his wife warm on a cold night. Heyman says he never says something like that, as Reigns is a happily married man, but Heyman says he's not. Heyman assures Cody that when this is when he will find out his WrestleMania dreams will become his own personal nightmare. So Heyman disappears on the screen and dips out. Cody says Roman is great, but he's seen this play out before. Do not send this man again. He says he hasn't come face to face yet, but they probably will soon. And Cody's going to say the same thing now that he'll say then. Cody says that without a doubt, Roman is the greatest undisputed WWE Universal Champion in the history of the company. He's the best champion in all sports, but that doesn't change a damn thing. I have to finish the story. Cody says he will beat Reigns at Mania, and he drops the mic and dips out. So I do like this, and I do agree with Cody. Phenomenal promo as always on both guys. But it does beg the question, and it does make sense, that at some point, Cody and Roman have to come face to face. And hopefully that happens on SmackDown or happens next week. But it's got to, start somewhere. You've got 6 weeks to build this. We need Reigns and Cody to come face to face at least 2 or 3 times. I want to see some really good promo segments between the two. And I do think that it will be great. Because they have history with each other. They do. Sika and Dusty, they feuded back in the 80s. So, there's history there with both families. There's history. There's a lot of history there. Next, Asuka versus Nikki Cross. So, before the match even begins, Bianca Belair comes out and she sits on a chair next to commentary to watch the match. So, Asuka wins. She defeats Nikki Cross in about 7 minutes, I guess, 7 to 8 minutes. So she locks in the Asuka lock for the win. So Bianca enters the ring post-match. So Bianca raises her title in the air. Asuka points to the WrestleMania sign. They stare at each other, and then Asuka begins to laugh, and then the blue mist starts to leaking from her mouth, and Bianca's like, "What the hell is this shit?" So it does freak her out. So I do like this. It makes sense. I like it. Kathy Kelly, she's backstage with Carmella, asking if she's found a new game plan to get to WrestleMania. Carmella says it's only been 48 hours, so no. But what she's thought of is Asuka. Carmella says that little freak thinks she can mess with Carmella, but she doesn't think so. She goes on and says she's about to make Bianca Belair's win at Mania real easy when she delivers one hell of a receipt to Asuka because Mella is money. Okay. Moving on. So Kathy immediately finds Seth Rollins. He's strutting around. He's in a good mood. She talks about Logan Paul. Rollins says that's 2 times now that Logan has messed up his WrestleMania plans. Rollins says if Logan Paul wants to make this a game and hit him with his own move, but the joke is on Logan. He says Paul may not be familiar with a certain side of him, but anyone who's gotten in his way has learned about that side too well. Rollins says he'll find Paul and he will hurt him. And so Seth laughs. Seth says Logan wants to make this a game and he'll hit him with his own move. And Seth laughs and tells Logan the joke's on him. Seth says, my bad. Continue on. So, Seth says, since Logan isn't here tonight, the man who wants to take credit for Logan's success seems like a perfect surrogate for suffering. And, Seth cackles and dips out. So I do like that. That's great. That's really cool right there. That sounds like a really cool band name. Surrogate for Suffering. Sounds like a really good deathcore band. Love that name right there. But I do like that. That's really cool. Really cool. That leads us into Seth Rollins versus The Miz. Rollins wins via a stomp, but he actually wins via referee stoppage. So he delivers like 3 stomps, and the ref calls for referee stoppage. I'm like, damn, this is like WWE 2K22. Seriously. Like, it's that serious, where Rollins has like 3 finishers and he just uses them all. Oh, man. But this does make sense here. It does. Moving on. So Carmella, she's walking backstage with Adam Pearce. She thanks him for the opportunity, and he thanks her for the positive attitude. So he makes Asuka versus Carmella official for the next week. Yawn. And then Carmella says, thanks, honey bunny, and walks out. So Pierce gets a phone call from Chelsea Green. It's Chelsea Green. She's upset about talent relations sending her to Iowa, Illinois instead of Iowa, Ontario. She says she wants to know, is Pierce going to fix this? He apologizes and says Raw will be in Grand Rapids next week. And that's in the U.S. So let him call the travel department and figure it out. So Chelsea continues on the rant, and Pierce plays it off and acts like he's having some service issues because he can't hear because he's in Canada, and he hangs up the phones. So that's a pretty good little comedy segment. I'm loving what they're doing with Chelsea Green here. I really am. I know I've been crapping on it for the last few weeks, but it kind of all makes sense now, how she's just playing a annoying little brat trying to get her way. So it does make sense. So Alpha Academy, oh my God, every damn week. It never fails. So Chad Gable can't understand how Maximum Male Models doesn't think he has the look. Bronson Reed walks up and asks if this is how Gable prepares for a match. Gable says not only is he a bona fide Olympian, but he's also the big, beautiful brain behind Alpha Academy. He's on the cusp of a lucrative modeling career. So Bronson tells him to get ready to model a full-body cast. So Otis steps to Reed and says, no one talks to Master Chad Gable like this. Then we get a little stare down between the two. And I like that. So we're probably building towards that. Hopefully. Moving on. So, Ding Dong Hello is up next. So, Bayley and Damage Control, they're in the ring. So, Bayley insults the people of Canada and says, since it's Family Day, she goes on about how much she loves Io, Sky, and Dakota Kai, her family. She has some questions for them. She first asks how it feels to be the greatest tag team champions of all time. And Dakota says they dominated for more than 100 days, all thanks to Bayley's support. She named some people that they defeated, and that they're going to continue to dominate. Thankfully, Becky Lynch came out. So, Becky knocks them for rarely defending the titles and says that they won't just sit on them because she wants to take them to WrestleMania. Bayley laughs and asks who'd she team with because she has no friends. Becky says there's one person she's thinking of. So out comes Lita to a really good pop. So Bayley says they better use her front door if they want to interrupt her show. They come in. Bayley reminds them of their 2022 beef. Becky says she's already apologized. And Lita says they're past that. Lita says she wants one more title run. But if she couldn't take the title from Becky, she liked the idea of taking the tag titles into WrestleMania. So Lita officially challenges Io and Dakota. Bayley says they haven't even come close to earning a title shot. So Becky begins to ramble off their solo accomplishments and says that's enough. Lita and Becky go on about how they want to prove that they're the best unless they're scared. So Bayley accepts the challenge for Dakota and Io, and they're not even sure about it. Becky and Lita, they snatch the title belts and pose with him, and then they toss the titles back, and then they stare each other down. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This doesn't make any sense to me. But it is what it is. The match is next week. That'll probably main event the show next week, I would imagine. I don't know. Byron Saxton's he's backstage with Candice LeRae. So he asked about Johnny Gargano being banned from the Elimination Chamber. So Candice says she can tell us that, and then out of nowhere, she sees Nikki Cross. So LeRae says Nikki's been following her for months, and she just needs to know why. She has a match with Piper Niven next week to get ready for her. So she can't focus on that next week while wondering when Nikki's going to show up. So Candice begs Nikki to tell her why. Nikki seems a bit shut down and reserved, and more than how wild she usually is. So Nikki steps to LeRae, whispers something to her. So Candice is very confused, and then Nikki runs off. So Byron asks, what did Nikki Cross just say to Candice? Candice says, Nikki just says all her friends are gone and she's alone. And LeRae says that she's sorry, but to answer the original question, Johnny will be back. So LeRae is still confused, and then she's concerned as well, and she walks off. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I don't know what they're trying to do here. Is there going to be a reuniting of Sanity or what have you? I don't know. We know Eric Young is no longer with Impact. I don't know what they're doing with this whole thing. I don't know. I'm guessing they could bring Sanity back. They probably are working towards that. I figured that Sanity would have been back a while now, you know. I don't know, man. I have no idea where the hell this is going. And who really cares at the end of the day? It doesn't matter. Who cares? Next, Bronson Reed versus Chad Gable. Bronson Reed wins via the tsunami in quick fashion. Utterly destroys Gable. So Maxine, she gets involved in the match. She's out there with Otis, checking him out. So, basically, Otis realizes that what happened to Chad. What happened to Chad Gable. So Maxine walks off. She gives him her business card, and he's looking at it. So I think this is great. This actually makes a bunch of sense. Makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. I do see them splitting up Chad Gable and Otis. I think that Otis can salvage really well with this comedy character with the Maximum Male Models. I think he would do tremendous in that role. And then Gable can be a singles guy, I guess. I don't know, but it seems to me that all signs are pointing to a breakup with the team, which kind of makes sense in my opinion. So, Elias, he's in the middle of the ring. So, he says he helps Rick Boogs is backstage taking notes because this is how you do it. So, we then see Boogs backstage taking notes. So, Elias says, this is the time of the year when the stars come out, legends come out. He said there's no bigger star or legend than Elias. He says the question on everyone's mind is, Boogs, remember taking notes. Who wants to walk with Elias at WrestleMania? He points to the sign. Elias says there has to be someone who wants to walk with Elias on the grand stage of them all. Bobby Lashley comes out and destroys Elias. So, Lashley drops Elias to the mat. He spears Elias, and then he puts him in the hurt lock. Tosses him out the ring. Lashley gets on the mic and says everyone has a plan until he slaps the hurt lock on them. He says this past weekend he put Brock Lesnar in the hurt lock. He panicked. He had to resort to a low blow. Not Lesnar, not Bray Wyatt, not Elias. Nobody in the locker room breaks the hurt lock. So now he will not be disrespected by anyone in this locker room. Lashley says if you disrespect him, he will put you down. And I'm like, oh shit, this is about to get real. And this was great. I love this. I absolutely love this. Tremendous stuff right here. Great. Great. Oh, I forgot to mention that MVP, for whatever reason, hold on, let me go back. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it on here. Hold on, give me a second, guys. I apologize for this. It should be in someone's notes. Hold on. Well, anyway, Omos is standing with MVP. And so, basically, MVP says that Brock screwed Bobby Lashley. He loved Bobby Lashley, but tried doing that to Omos. And so, he basically puts out a challenge. Omos versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And I'm like, no, please no. For the love of God, no. Hell no. And I do think that this is a ruse. I think this is going to set up the reuniting of the Hurt Business probably. I think this is all going to be a ruse. So basically, MVP said, show up next week and accept the challenge. I think that this is going to be a ruse. I really, really do think it's going to be a ruse. Byron, he's backstage with Edge. So, Byron asks Edge how he feels about tonight's main event. Edge says, now that the Judgment Day is in the rear view and his family is at home, he can get back to the goals he set for himself coming out of retirement. He knows Austin Theory has the physical ability to shape WWE for the next 20 years, just like Edge did the last 30. But does he have the mental ability? Edge says that's where their similarities end. Edge says, the thing with youth is sometimes it comes with ignorance. Theory talks about his forever reign, but nothing lasts forever. Edge says Edge doesn't want to be that guy because he's about to be with another cliche. With age comes wisdom. He knows that more than anyone in the back that this can be taken away from you faster than from you. He plans to slap the duck face off of Austin Theory's overly manscaped head. He goes on and talks about he hasn't held a title in a long time. He's done a lot in WWE, but his time's running out to hold a title. The window is closing. Edge mentioned how his second WWE match in Ottawa he hasn't wrestled in 17 years, and it feels pretty good to win tonight and go into WrestleMania 39 as U.S. champion. Edge says he has a lot of cliches for Byron. He's got one more. Never say never. Main event. Edge versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title. Austin Theory wins via the A-Town Down. Balor gets involved towards the end of the match. So Balor kicks Edge in the head, and that allows Theory to hit the A-Town Down for the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Balor does not one, not even two, but 3 coup de grace to the ribs of Edge, and then he celebrates, and then we go off the air. So that was Raw. It was okay. It could have been a lot better though. So I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for my videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.